Alright, so we are live. I'm trying to see how I would actually do this. This is the YouTube app. I know nobody's watching right now, but if you watched after the fact, I'm using the iPad Pro 10.5. I wanted to try out, for one, kind of the front-facing camera for this, and I've never used the actual built-in live stream feature for the YouTube app. So I'm trying that. So I see we got one person that jumped on. Like I said, this is an ad hoc live stream. My daughter popped in here because she wanted to do it as well. But this can kind of be a Q&A, whatever. But I'm mostly just trying out the camera on the iPad Pro 10.5, and I also am going to do a Q&A here. So I've never used this app for this purpose, as far as this is the actual custom or stock YouTube app, so I wanted to try it out. Not sure how the sound is. I'm rocking the old Blue Yeti microphone plugged directly into the iPad, and I'm trying to make it show where it'll show any comments. So I'm not sure who jumped on there, but if you wouldn't mind typing something so I can see if I can see any comments. It says show live, but obviously I don't think I have any comments. So looks like we got 3 people jumped on. So like I said, random Q&A ad hoc session, just checking out the YouTube app, and I'm using the new iPad Pro 10.5. So this is actually the front-facing camera. It is a little grainy, but it's not terrible for what it is. So hopefully you guys can see me. I'm trying to see the different options here. Looks like it is working. So like I said, I don't know if anybody's said anything yet. We had a few people and then you left. But in case you guys are curious, I did a video on it the other day. Basically what I've been up to is I'm doing a Microsoft IT program called the MSSA program. That's what I've been up to. So I haven't made a whole lot of videos. I am going to do a review hopefully tomorrow for the iPad Pro 10.5. I've had it now for a couple weeks, and definitely got a good impression of it. I think it's a phenomenal tablet, probably the best tablet you can get, definitely the most powerful. So whether you love or hate Apple, you really can't dispute that the iPad Pro is a pretty phenomenal tablet, and benchmarks and all that crap prove it, that there really isn't a better tablet on the market when it comes to pure horsepower. So for you guys watching, got any questions, throw them out there. Like I said, this is just ad hoc. Also today I also tried gaming with my I got the 15-inch MacBook Pro with the 4 gigs of VRAM. I think it's the AMD 460, and I've been running Windows Boot Camp on that to see how it performs, and I installed Steam on it. So I've been playing Battlefield 1, Gears of War 4, and it's actually been running really well for gaming. Downloaded GTA 5 just so I could try it out to see how, and no issues with that whatsoever. So if you were curious about that, I'll probably do a separate video on it as far as running boot camp on the 2016 iPad, not iPad Pro, but the 2016 MacBook Pro, and how it games. So I think it games pretty freaking good. I'm not really a hardcore gamer, but as long as I'm getting over 30 frames a second, I am happy. So not sure if anybody's said anything yet, or if I just can't get it to show. So if you are watching, if you can throw some kind of shout out in the comment, just so I can see your guys' comments, because I'm not sure if anybody's trying to talk, because this is the first time I've used the actual YouTube app to do live stream. And the app I was using before, I could definitely see when people talk, but on this I can't tell. So I don't know if you guys got any questions. Feel free to ask away. I'm having a little nightcap while I'm doing this. Alright, got somebody else that just joined. I can't really tell who it is because this app seems to be working, but it doesn't give me a lot of features compared to when I use
yeah, you can't really see anything.
A third-party app. So I don't know if you guys are trying to talk or not, or ask me stuff, because if you are, it's not showing up. Alright, it says it is, but I don't know if it's working, so I guess I will wait and see. But that's pretty much what's been going on. If if you follow my channel, you know that I'm military, but I'm getting ready to retire and transition. So that's what I've been spending most of my time, is doing the good old job hunting thing, because unfortunately my lucrative military career is not going to pay the bills when I'm getting 50% of the lucrative salary I get now. So I got to get another job. So like I said, I've been looking at the IT field. So I've been doing the server and cloud administration training, and I've been doing that now for about a month, and I got to say that it kind of sucks. It's very not exciting. So I'm going to finish the course, obviously, but I don't think I want to be stuffed in a cubicle all day managing virtual machines and servers. So I'll probably try and fly. So who knows? But again, that's why I haven't been doing a ton of videos. But I'm going to start trying to at least do one more a week. So tomorrow I'm going to try and finish shooting all my B-roll footage to do the iPad Pro 10.5 review. Like I said, spoiler, it's the best iPad you can get. I mean, specs are the same as the 12.9, but it's the best iPad out there, definitely in my opinion. And spec-wise, there's really nothing out there that can touch it as far as the competition. Whether you're a fanboy like Apple, like Android, it doesn't really matter. As far as the facts are, it's the best hardware you can get. But definitely enjoying the tablet. So again, if you guys are talking, I don't know, or you guys are just being quiet because this chat viewing option. So if somebody could again throw me a shout out so I make sure this is working, or else you can just sit here and stare at me rambling. But like I said, you got questions, happy to answer, happy to tell you what I've been up to, and any other thoughts on anything. So if not, I'll probably wrap this up soon unless some more people jump on and start chatting. But if you are chatting, then it's definitely not working, and I'll look at this after I publish it, and then if that didn't work, then I'll just use my previous app that I was using, where I can definitely see y'all talking and who actually pops on. Like right now, I see there's a few of you guys on, but I don't know who it is with this app. It's very featureless, but it is there. And I know before you had to have 10,000 subscribers for this YouTube app to actually work and let you live stream, but I definitely don't have 10,000 yet, and it's working for me. So I think they definitely backed that down significantly, but it would be nice if they update this app with more features. So if you've used it and you're watching this, maybe you know more than me to make it show the different features. But right now, from the screen that I'm looking at, I pretty much see my ugly mug, and I see how many folks are on, but I don't see if you guys are actually interacting with me or not. So that's about it. Just getting ready for the 4th of July. And oh, I did go to Best Buy and messed with and played with the new Surface Pro and the Surface laptops, and I got to say, they're just out of my price range right now, especially when I'm getting ready to retire. But if I could afford it, I would definitely have a Surface laptop. I mean, the build quality alone is what kind of wowed me. I mean, I got to play with it in store and just mess with the build quality, and it's pretty freaking nice. So if money was no object, I would definitely have one to show you guys and use for my secondary device, because I'm, like I said, I switched to Mac about 2 months ago, and I've actually been enjoying the experience quite a bit. Still rocking the 15-inch now MacBook Pro. I did have, initially I bought the 15-inch MacBook Pro. I used it. I liked it. I just thought it was kind of expensive, so I returned it and got the 13-inch, used that for a while, and then I was like, well, it still was a little underpowered for using a Final Cut Pro doing the 4K videos, so I actually handed that one down to my wife, went on B&H, found me a refurbished 15-inch model, got the spec'd out one minus the hard drive, and didn't pay any taxes, and got a pretty good price on it. So here comes family walking in, doing a live stream here. But again, if you're just joining me, somebody wants to give me a shout out, hopefully it's working and you can hear my wife singing as she walks in the door. But
Yeah, she loves that song.
if you've got any questions, again, drop one in the comments, because I don't know if this is working. I guess the other way I could find out is try and pull this up on my phone, but I don't know if it's going to work for me. But for y'all that are watching, Hope you guys are doing well. Again, if you got any questions, comments, shoot me a message here. I'll see if I can get this to work. But I'm trying to pull this up on my phone to see if it'll show the comments.
FX Factory is a revolutionary visual effects package.
It's going to be laggy here. All right, let's see. Pulling up on my phone.
Yeah, you can see me on there.
Yeah. So yeah, right now I'm kind of looking at my own live stream because I'm trying to see if the comments will work. So I'm trying to figure out how to actually make a comment.
It's very weird because like it's repeating after me.
Yeah. So if anybody can figure out how to comment on this, aha, here we go. I see the comments now. For whatever reason, not showing up on the app. But Kevin L, you asked what rank in the Army I am and how did I get a commission. I'm not a commission guy. I'm actually a warrant officer. So I'm a Chief Warrant Officer 4. So there's not a direct commission for that. You essentially go through a board process, you apply, and you go to walk school. And Manny, thank you. Sounds good. And you're asking also, am I going to stick to the Surface Pro 4? No, my daughter's got a Surface Pro 4, but I actually don't have mine anymore because I switched back to Mac, essentially. But like I said, on my 2016, which is now the last year's model as of 3 weeks ago, I went ahead and installed Windows Professional or Windows 10 Professional via Boot Camp, and it's been working really well. So I've actually, you missed it earlier if you're just joining me, but I just today tried gaming on it just because I wanted to see how it did with the AMD 460 and the 4 gigs of VRAM, and I tried Gears of War 4, Battlefield 1, and Grand Theft Auto 5, and didn't have any issues. Very playable. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do ultra settings on it, but I could do medium settings and get anywhere from 30 to 60 frames a second, which is more than good enough for me. So sweet. So yeah, now I figured out how to see y'all's comments. For whatever reason, it's not showing on the YouTube app here that I'm looking at on my iPad, but it's showing up on my phone. So if you guys got questions, now I can see them. But this was just me trying to do an experiment. I'm using the iPad Pro 10.5 inch. This is the front-facing camera, which is essentially the same camera as you get on an iPhone 7. And yeah, I see Art Johnson. No mic in the top, only front and back. I don't know what you're meaning there, Art, as far as maybe you're talking about the orientation of the Yeti. But
I think he means like he's never used that, and
yeah,
he's
but
never used that.
I've got this plugged directly into my iPad Pro, so it seems to be working. Sound quality hopefully is good. But let me turn my actual phone down. But yeah, I guess I'll have to do that next time. Here's my son trying to screw with this thing. But yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me okay with this.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Oh, you're saying don't tilt the mic. I see. But if I do this, you're not going to see me. You're just going to see the microphone.
But you see me.
But I'll kick it off to the side. Hopefully you guys can still hear.
It's also a ridiculously sensitive mic.
Because it's omnidirectional, I guess.
We'll
So
figure
yeah,
it on that
but yeah, and I definitely see the comments now. So if you guys got more questions, shoot away. I'll sit here and ramble and babble as long as you guys want to ask questions.
Definitely ask them
So
questions.
tomorrow I'm going to try and do the 10.5 inch iPad Pro review. I've been using it for 2 weeks now and really enjoying it. So, and my daughter wanted to sit in on this, so she's got questions for her as well.
Got nothing else to do.
But hopefully you guys can still hear me because I kind of moved the mic out of frame a little bit. Because it's kind of off to the side, but it should be sensitive enough. But more questions, shoot away. Like I said, I've been racking my brain doing IT crap right now. The Microsoft MSSA program. I've been doing Server and Cloud 2016 and getting ready to move into doing Azure, which is like kind of their cloud whole system. But I will tell you, it is not very exciting. It's very dry, boring stuff, and probably not going to do that for a career just because I realize that I don't like it. But I'm going to do it anyways. So if any of you guys out there have interacted with that, you know the pain, especially with Windows PowerShell. It's basically the new version of DOS, which kind of sucks. But so, on another personal note, I actually have a interview next week for a airline transition program for me being a helicopter pilot. They basically train you to be an airline pilot. So, interview for that next week. Don't know if I'll do it or not, but it's just another thing to consider here as I'm getting ready to retire from the military. So, any more questions? Shoot them, because now I can actually see them. All right. Thanks, Manny. Appreciate that. So, I know most of the folks that actually subscribe to my channel and watch this are actually on the other side of the globe. So, usually they always miss these because of what time I do them. But for those that are here, feel free to ask away. I think there's a whole 4 of you right now, so a massive subscriber base. But like I said, tomorrow I'm going to try and knock out my review of the iPad Pro 10.5. And again, I'm using that right now. It's the front-facing camera. That's why the lighting's bad and you can see the shadows. But this is just kind of ad hoc video. As you can see, I got dogs barking, people singing.
Dog barking.
So I'm just here in my kitchen, but nothing exciting with my massive YouTube studio here.
What always happens here?
Any other questions before I wrap this thing up? So closing on 20 minutes, but again, it's free. So whatever, you got questions? It's Saturday night here. Not much going on. But see, you got the dogs barking, so it's getting fairly distracting. But so I'll go ahead and wrap it up unless I get more questions here in the next 30 seconds or so. But for those who jumped in, I appreciate it. This was again just a big test of the actual YouTube app. Alright, still using Windows Phone. No, Sergio, I actually went back to iPhone, not because I didn't like the Windows Phone. It's just I was getting frustrated with Microsoft not willing to support it. It was just kind of ticking me off that more and more apps and features for the Windows Store have just been dropping off. I'm about to murder my dog. So that's why I ditched it. I had the HP Elite X3, which is probably still hardware-wise one of my favorite phones. But just the fact that Microsoft refuses to support it, I kind of ditched it. So honestly, I don't think Windows Phone will be around that much longer unless Windows or Microsoft decides to come out with a Surface Phone. So to me, I don't think they're going to do it, which is kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I think it's going to die. So good question though. All right. Any other questions? And I have a stupid barking dog. Mikey, can you go shut that stupid dog up? Anyway. All right. Any more questions before I wrap it up? As you can hear my stupid dog barking. But my last video is actually kind of a vlog style, so I don't know if you guys are into that or like that. I'm not one to vlog just because my life is extremely boring, so I don't have anything to talk about. But if you guys are into that, maybe I'll try and do a couple more, just to give you progress on my lucrative, illustrious IT training that's going on right now, which is really not exciting at all unless you like PowerShell and that kind of crap. So, any other questions? Alright. Well, somebody just jumped on. Got a couple more people. So, for those that are just joining, like I said, this is not a real topic per se. This is just me trying out the front-facing camera on the iPad Pro 10.5, and I'm also using the YouTube app to do a live stream for the first time. I've actually not ever used it to try a live stream, and so far I gotta say the app works, except that it kind of sucks as far as I can't see your guys' comments on the actual iPad, but on my iPhone I can. It could be because I'm running iOS 11 beta right now. And happy 4th to you, Art, as well. And Manny saying you went from Android to iOS just because the apps run so much better. You went from it, yeah, I would agree with 110%. That's one of the reasons that I did switch back to iPhone, is because Obviously, you can't customize it as much as Android and all that, but it's just a very smooth experience. I've used every phone iOS out there, and Apple still love it or hate it, even though they haven't changed the design a whole lot since the inception. It works. So I like the simplicity of it, so I use it. But I wish Microsoft would invest in the Windows Phone, but I think it's just going to die.
Can I have a question?
Yeah, sure, you can have a question.
Is this the first live stream you've ever done?
No.
Or is it just the first one you've done with this app?
This is the first one I've done with the app. And Sergio's saying you've been a Windows Phone for years. Yep, I agree with you. It's dead.
110%.
But like I said, I like iOS, and
Oh, that's a very nice comment.
it's just, I mean, I do like Android. I love Samsung, like the Note series especially. But I just like the integration that you get with Apple. Like I said, I've got a MacBook Pro, I've got an iPad, and I just like how they all talk. The ecosystem is pretty much unbeatable. And Andrew, yep, you're welcome for, he's thanking me for my service, so thank you. And thankfully, it's almost coming to an end as far as my service is. Sweet. Yep, Manny. Alright, so cool. But yeah, so thanks for everybody for jumping in here, and more questions. I'm just hanging out on a Saturday, drinking a beer with not a whole lot to do. So I've been procrastinating actually filming and publishing my review of the iPad Pro 10.5, but like I said, it's definitely the best iPad experiences you can get, just because of the sheer power of it. I mean, 4 gigs of RAM and a tablet is just kind of insane. And I've already edited some 4K videos on it just to see how it performs. And like I said, I've got the 2016 15-inch MacBook Pro with 4 gigs of VRAM. It's the AMD 460, the highest i7 you can get. And the iPad Pro still renders the video, a 4K video, in a third of the time that it does it on my giant MacBook Pro. So pretty cool. So I've got a couple other questions. Let's see. Oh, what beer is that? Oh, the Surface laptop as well. Sergio's asking. I would love to do a review on the Surface laptop. It's just right now I just can't afford it, especially as I'm getting closer to retirement. I don't really want to drop a lot of cash on some laptops here, but so I do want to get my hands on it because, like I said, I went to Best Buy the other day and played with the Surface laptop, and the design and build quality just look second to none. I mean, it's a beautiful laptop, and I would love to get my hands on it.
What app do you use to edit videos on iPad?
Yep. And as far as the beer I'm drinking, this is a triple Belgium, or Belgium triple. I'm here in Colorado Springs, and there's a brewery called Cerebus Brewery, and they brew this locally. And this is probably my favorite beer, and it's got a kick to it, but it is good, flavorful stuff. So. But as far as what app do I edit with on the iPad, LumaFusion, hands down. So if you want to do video editing on an iPad, LumaFusion, it's a $20 app, but it is the best app, bar none, you can get for the iPad to edit video. I've done a couple videos on LumaFusion already, so you can check my channel on that. I do want to do some more on it, because especially now that I'm running iOS 11, it's got a built-in screen capture function, so I can do more tutorials with LumaFusion. But by far, if you've not checked it out, check out my review on it, but also check it out in the App Store, because really with your iPad and LumaFusion, you don't need a computer anymore. It gives you so many options. It's the closest to a desktop experience for iPad video editing that you can get. So iOS 11, yep. I am running the iOS 11 beta. I actually downloaded it last night, so I've been using it now for a whole 24 hours. I just signed up via the Apple website for the developer program, whatever, the beta. It's super simple to get, but so far it's a little buggy just because it is beta, but I really like it. So when I do my review, I'll throw some stuff in there on that, or I'll do a separate video on iOS 11, but it's really good. So I'm excited to get the full version in the fall. And if you're running an iPad or iPhone, I think you'll definitely enjoy iOS 11. But yeah, so like I said, it is a little buggy, like even the YouTube app. I'm thinking that's why I can't see you guys' comments on the YouTube app, because the YouTube app was being a bit odd since I downloaded this beta yesterday. So I think that's why I'm not seeing your comments on my iPad, but I can see you guys on my iPhone. But when it's fully baked, I think it's going to be awesome. So realistically, I think if you get an iPad Pro, whether it be the 10.5 or the 12.9, there's really no reason you can't replace your laptop anymore, especially with the cloud services, and almost the entry-level models at 256 gigabytes. So storage is not an option. Plus, you get all the iCloud stuff, OneDrive, all the different drives out there. So really, no reason you can't replace your laptop with an iPad anymore, unless you're doing some seriously, you know, some niche stuff like graphic design and all that. But even still, there's apps out there where you can probably do it. But all right, so we're getting more people jumping on. So if you got questions, keep them coming. Happy to answer them.
Ooh, can you tell them about my channel?
As my daughter keeps trying to tell me to tell, she has a little channel as well, where she just does crafts and such. So, what is your channel called?
Mia's Crafts.
Mia's Crafts. So, if I remember, I'll try and throw a link in the description on this. But she just does like crafts. So if you're into that, or you got kids that are into that, check it out. It's not even monetized or anything, so there's no ads or commercials for that. So I'm trying to adjust this a little bit. All right, any other questions? So we got more folks jumping on here. Said I'm just hanging out on Saturday, drinking a beer, and trying out my iPad 10.5 front-facing camera.
So
Curious if any of you folks that actually follow my channel are in the IT field. Because like I said, I've been doing the Microsoft Server and Cloud 2016 training through Microsoft, and kind of sucks. So I'm just curious if there's anybody out there that's familiar with it, with the pain that I'm going through right now. I thought I was going to try and do that as my next career as far as IT, but the more I'm in this class, I'm definitely probably not going to do IT, just because it's not what I expected it would be.
are there any bugs for beta?
Alright, any other questions? It looks like there's probably about a 5-second delay. I've got fairly quick internet here in my house, but looks like flash to bang's about 5 seconds. For military folks, you know what that term means. Alright, I did have some interesting comments on some of my videos today. Some weird foreign type folks that were saying some very anti-American stuff, but I guess that's to be expected. If you're on YouTube long enough, you're going to get more trolls and haters. Yep, Andrew, definitely. I will tell you, if you're going to replace your laptop, I would go with the 12.9 inch model just because of the bigger screen. But for me personally, what I do, I could definitely replace my laptop. So I use a lot of Microsoft Office for my day-to-day, and it works just fine. It's the mobile version, so it's not fully functioned, but it's functioning enough for me. I could do all my video editing with LumaFusion without a problem. So for me personally, it could replace my laptop. Now your use case may be different, but even for AutoCAD and some of the other stuff that folks do, there are some pretty good apps where I think you could do it. But I mean, obviously the biggest hang up is always the file sharing, or the file manager, which there is the new one with the iOS 11 beta that I'm running. But still, until you can without issue connect an external hard drive to your iPad, that could kind of be a pain. But obviously you can still use all the numerous free cloud services out there, the OneDrive, the Google Drive, you name it. There's 4 or 5 different options. But for me personally, it can, and I think for 90% of the population, that you can replace your laptop with this, hands down. Obviously, if you're like a hardcore gamer and all that crap, then you're still going to want to have your desktop. But for laptop replacement, no issue, especially if you have a desktop at home that you use for your hardcore stuff.
Hardcore?
But I mean, I will tell you so far the performance on the new iPad Pros it just blows my mind. I mean, it's got the 120 hertz refresh rate, it's got 4 gigs of RAM, and just the Geekbench scores on this are just ridiculous. So like I said, I've already edited a 4K video on this, and I did the exact same video or the same project in Final Cut Pro on my 15-inch MacBook Pro, and the iPad Pro exported it in a third of the time. So pretty impressive stuff, and obviously, you know, it probably compresses a little more. But to the human eye, I couldn't tell any difference in the quality. It still exported as 4K. Whereas on the iPad Pro, you know, I exported as ProRes, so max resolution. So it kicked it out as like a 100 gigabyte file. So then I had to run it through Handbrake if I wanted to upload it to YouTube, where it would take me a freaking year to upload it to YouTube. So definitely, I'm probably gonna switch to just doing all my video editing on LumaFusion on the iPad, just because it's faster and it's simpler. Yeah, definitely Art. Yeah, I can't remember if it was you, Art, who actually recommended LumaFusion to me. Somebody on one of my subscribers actually recommended LumaFusion to me like 6 months ago, and I can't remember who it was, but ever since then I've been hooked on LumaFusion. If you do video editing, it is insanely simple, and it is an awesome app. So highly recommend it. So I'm gonna have another swig of my beer here. On a personal note, I've also been trying to get back in shape again as I drink my high-calorie beer here, but I've gotten lazy like the last 6 months since I got back from Afghanistan, so I've been getting fat, but trying to get back in shape here. So as you can tell by my double chins. And happy 4th to you, Manny. Have a good evening. Hope you guys all enjoy the 4th. So I'm looking forward to it here. It's just odd that it's on a Tuesday, so that makes it kind of harder to have a long weekend, I guess. But all right. Anybody else who's just jumping on got any questions? I got my son lurching around, circling me. But we're gonna have a evening of finishing all my beer and gaming. Like I said, I installed a Windows 10 Professional on my MacBook Pro, and I've been gaming on it today, and I'm probably gonna game the rest of the evening. But I've been pleasantly surprised how well it actually does with gaming. Like I said, I'm not a big gamer, but I've been playing Battlefield 1, Gears of War 4, and GTA 5, and it runs it pretty good. I mean, obviously you're not going to run it on Ultra, but like I said, I've got the AMD 460 with 4 gigs of VRAM, 16 gigs of RAM, and I forget the exact gigahertz on the processor, but I got the highest i7 you could get on the 2016 model MacBook, and it does pretty good, so I'm pleasantly surprised. Like I said, I was debating about just buying another Windows machine and keeping the Mac, but I was like, oh, I'll save the money, install Boot Camp, and use Windows when I need it, and then Mac OS the rest of the time. So I still kind of prefer Windows 10, just because it's what I'm used to, but more and more I'm starting to actually prefer Mac OS. But again, to each their own. So Daniel, nice to see you. Says you hear that the iPad Mini is being discontinued, unfortunately. Yep, I am fairly certain that they're just not going to make the iPad Mini anymore, especially now that you've got the new iPad, which is just the budget 9.7. Now you've got the 10.5, and then of course the 12.9. I don't see them having 4 different sizes, so I think the iPad Mini is going to go the way of the Dodo, so probably have no more iPad Mini. But I do like the iPad Mini as a pilot because it fits on my kneeboard, so hopefully maybe they keep it alive, but honestly I don't think they're going to, especially now with the 10.5. I just don't think they're going to have 4 different physical sizes as far as for manufacturing purposes as well. So, but you can still pick up iPad Mini 4s actually fairly cheap, so it's still a good iPad, so I still recommend it, but it's not going to be as, you know, powerful as the Pro models now. So a good question and or a good comment. Alright, and looks like my daughter went and jumped on the other computer, so happy 4th. But some good questions and comments. So if you got more, keep them coming. So I'm just hanging out. So once it starts to taper off here, I'll probably just end it, because I can only stare at my mug so long and babble about nothing. Of course, the beer does help. The more I drink, the more I'll probably talk. So, but any other questions? You can see it is the weekend, so I didn't shave. But all right, anybody else popping on? Like I said, I'm probably gonna sign this off soon. This was just kind of an ad hoc live stream, just to say hi to everybody, let everybody know I'm still kicking, even though I hadn't made a lot of videos lately. And also, I wanted to test out the front-facing camera on the iPad Pro 10.5, which is what I'm using this live stream on. And I have yet to use the actual YouTube app to live stream. So I'm using the YouTube app. Got my Blue Yeti microphone here plugged into it, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay. So you guys just don't seem to have any issues with the sound. But all right, Robert, nice to see you. One of the guys that actually followed my channel for quite a while now. I hope you have a great 4th as well, Robert. And I do think iOS 11 is going to be that good. I'm actually running it right now. I've got the beta version of iOS 11, and I like it quite a bit. There's a couple things that I don't like, which I probably need to do a video on it, just because the one feature that I've wanted for as long as I can remember on the iOS is the ability to close all your open apps at once. Now currently, with the current iOS, you guys all know the deal. You swipe up and you just got to keep swiping all the apps to close them. Now with iOS 11, they made it even slower, which is, to me, so they went backwards in that. So the way you do it is just like when you're deleting your apps, you just long press it, you'll see all your open apps, and then you got to go hit the X's one at a time. So they still have yet to add a close all button to the iOS, and that is my #1 complaint with iOS, is I can't close all my apps at once. But other than that, iOS 11 is actually really good. So I'll probably do a separate video on it. Like I said, it's still in beta, so it's not fully baked, but it's good. Sweet. And any other questions here before I get ready to sign off of this thing? It's like people are starting to drop off, so let's see. My daughter keeps asking questions as well via the comments. I do have a app that I paid for that I've used for live streams, which I'll probably go back to just because I can actually see the comments with it. But the YouTube one is fairly convenient just because it's in the YouTube app, and I'm using it right now, and it works. It's just, for whatever reason, it's not letting me see your guys' comments, and I think that's because I'm running the iOS 11 beta, to be honest with you. So the YouTube app's been kind of finicky with this beta because it's not fully baked yet. So if it's glitchy, that is why. But all right, so don't see any other questions, so I'm going to wrap this up here in about 30 seconds probably, unless some more questions pop on. Like I said, this was just more of a Signs of Life video, a live stream, and just testing out the hardware and the software. Alright, Robert, looks like you're out of here, and I'll be out of here as well, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. But thanks for you guys that actually jumped in and asked some questions. And if you watch this after the fact, throw some questions in the comments, and then I will answer them. But as always, if you have not subscribed, please do so. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. So hopefully you guys all have a great 4th of July. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks.